Welcome to the London Home Builders Association's Home Green Home Renovation video series. My name is Stephanie Coleman, and I'm a member of the London Home Builders Association and have a number of years of experience as a renovation contractor with a focus on design, building science, and energy conservation. So I will be sharing with you some of the things that you should consider when renovating your home, and I look forward to guiding you through this three-part renovation series. So for this video, we are going to cover what things you should consider when renovating, the house as a system, and 3 basic building science principles, and then bringing it all together with some important considerations. So why do we renovate? We want a better quality of life. We want to update our home to protect its value, or we're fixing a problem. So when it's a better quality of life, perhaps we need to put an addition on because we need more space, or perhaps that kitchen is just too old and dated and really needs some new countertops and cabinetry. Or, we're looking at selling the home in the future, and so we want to update it to make sure that we get the best money that we can get for our home. Or, in fixing a problem, perhaps there is a basement leak or some sort of general wear and tear that needs to be done. So what to consider when renovating? First of all, design. We all want a beautiful home with updated finishes, of course, but we should also consider comfort, because who wants to live in an uncomfortable home? Indoor air quality and health. Who wants stale air and pollution in their home? And also durability. Who wants to do unnecessary repairs in your home? And lastly, lower utility bills. And of course, no one wants to pay more to their utility company, but these are other things that we consider. Oftentimes when we start the process of doing a renovation, we get excited. We're looking at pictures on Houzz and Pinterest and gathering all these pictures and looking at products, and everything kind of stops at the design stage, right? When what we should look at is expanding our considerations when renovating and addressing comfort, indoor air quality and health, durability, and of course, if we can save money on our utility bills, that's an extra bonus. So how do we achieve all that? Interestingly, we achieve that by adding energy efficient features in our home. And the best time to add energy efficient features is when we're already in the mess doing a renovation. And so the reason is when we do energy efficient upgrades in our homes, it directly impacts the comfort, the indoor air quality, the health, and the durability of the home, all while costing us a little bit less on our bills. So this is where the building science in the house as a system comes in. This is called the house as a system approach. So all the house components work together as a system to create a comfortable, durable, and energy efficient building. And so there's 4 components within this ecosystem within our home. The outdoor weather, so the sun, the rain, the wind. The building envelope. The envelope are the walls, the ceiling, and the roof, and the components of the structure that separate the indoor air from the outdoor air. So the building envelope, how it's constructed, what it's constructed with, has an impact. The mechanical systems, so our furnace, our air conditioner, our ventilation system, and bath fans, and hot water tank, all of those are a key component in the house as a system approach. And lastly, but also most importantly, are the occupants and how we live in this space. So there are 3 principles of building science that we factor when we are developing plans for renovating a home to be more energy efficient. And so what we're looking for are heat flow, airflow, and moisture flow. So with heat moves from hot to cold, airflow moves from high pressure to low pressure, and moisture moves from wet to dry. So why do we care about how these 3 science factors work? That's because they have a direct impact on our comfort, our operating costs, our health, and our durability. And if we can control heat flow, airflow, and moisture flow, we can create a more comfortable, durable, and healthy home. So what do we want to consider when looking at the house as a system? These are important considerations. And this is how, when we talked about the house as a system and an ecosystem, when we change one thing, it can impact another thing. So we want to be mindful of how the house operates together and make these improvements to have the best result we can. So a benefit of adding insulation to the home is it reduces our energy waste, it improves our overall comfort, and the home is actually quieter. So if, for example, you're doing an outside renovation, like residing your home, for example, that is a perfect time to add exterior insulation and address insulating, air tightness, and making that home more comfortable and quieter and more energy efficient. If you are doing inside insulation, renovations, such as a bathroom or a kitchen, consider insulating the walls while you're in the mess to improve that area of the home. And also the attic. We do lose a fair amount of our heat through the attic, especially if the attic has not been insulated before. So consider adding insulation into the attic. Another consideration is air sealing. Now, this one gives a huge bang for your buck, so to speak. And the benefits are, with air sealing a home, it reduces heat loss. It improves comfort through reduced drafts and uncontrolled air leakages. It reduces dust and pollutants that are entering the home. It reduces risk of mold and rot and outside noises, creating a quieter home. It reduces energy use and operating costs. So, wow, that is a lot of things. And a lot of benefits that you get from air sealing a home. So absolutely, this is something that we do want to do. We want to have a really nice airtight envelope and an airtight home. But what we want to make sure that we do, because we're really sealing it up, is make sure that we have proper fresh air that's supplied to the home. So balanced ventilation is incredibly important to add when air sealing the home to reduce any sort of risk of combustion spillage of fuel-fired appliances such as hot water tanks or furnaces that could create some risk with carbon monoxide. So we certainly want to be mindful of that. And also we want to make sure that we have that fresh air supply to manage moisture and that have that constant, steady fresh air supplied to our family. So when you do air tighten your home and air seal your home, be sure to speak with your HVAC contractor and your energy advisor and professional renovation contractor for advice to make sure that any sort of risks are resolved. Now, windows and doors are another common renovation, and these are really beneficial to you. And so some of these benefits are the home can be quieter, less drafty, more energy efficient, and more comfortable than older windows, especially if we're looking at the really old windows like single pane. So going to a double pane window with low E coatings or argon fills, or going to triple pane, which are even more comfortable and more quiet, are options that we have today. So some considerations when looking at windows is water can get in around windows and doors, and it's actually a common problem that can create some structural damage, rot, and mold. So make sure that when you're having new windows and doors installed, that around that opening before the window is inserted, proper flashing is installed to prevent any sort of water from getting into the structural framing. The flashing, what it does is it creates a barrier so that should water get in around the window, it simply drains away. So you want to make sure that's flashed and sealed. And the other thing that you want to do is make sure that you choose the right windows. Not all windows are the same, depending on the types of coatings, the type of glass, the type of fill that is put inside the windows, the number of layers of glass. All of these have an impact on your comfort and how the home operates. So look for windows and pay attention to the solar heat gain coefficient, which is SHGC. That is how it's the acronym for it. So look for solar heat gain windows that are ideally on the lower side, especially as we make our homes more energy efficient, because even though we live in Canada and it's cold in the winter, and there can be advantages to having solar heat gain coming in through the windows. In the summertime, especially on south-facing rooms, that can become very hot and it can become very demanding on our air conditioning. So what you want to do in that case is speak with your HVAC contractor and your energy advisor and professional renovation contractor, and they can give you advice on what is the ideal solar heat gain coefficient you should have for the windows that you choose. Another thing that you want to look at when selecting your windows is the U value of the windows, because a lower U value means that the window is better insulated and it wastes less energy. So that will give you a more comfortable, more energy efficient window. And lastly, what we're going to look at is mechanical ventilation. So the benefits of proper sized, balanced mechanical ventilation and mechanical systems is that it provides a healthy indoor air quality while delivering comfort with even temperatures throughout the home. So some considerations, and this is really where the house as a system comes into effect, is when you're renovating your home, when you're air sealing, when you're adding insulation or changing windows, consider having a heat loss, heat gain calculation completed to ensure that when you go to replace your furnace with a new furnace and an air conditioner, that it's properly sized, because all of those components that we talked about, the windows, the insulation, the air tightness, all of those have a direct impact on the size of the mechanical equipment that you put in your home. And if you may think, well, you know, a bigger furnace is better. It is cold in the winter and we want to make sure we have lots of heat. But actually, that's not the case. What we want is right-sized mechanical equipment, because oversized furnaces and air conditioners can actually create a tremendous amount of discomfort through a phenomenon called short cycling. So what happens is the furnace comes on, it's very powerful, it provides a lot of heat. You know, in the wintertime, for example, it satisfies the thermostat and it shuts off right away. What happens is all of that heat didn't make its way to all of the corners of the house. And so you can end up with rooms that are really hot in the summertime because the cooling didn't reach that area, or they could be very cold in the wintertime because the heat didn't reach that area. So having right-sized mechanical equipment is really important, especially as we make our homes more airtight and more energy efficient. Another thing that's very important that we've touched on is adding an HRV or an ERV to your home. This is like the lungs of your home, and it provides a steady supply of fresh filtered air that improves the overall indoor air quality of your home. So thank you so much for joining us. This concludes the House as a System video. Be sure to check out the other 2 videos in this 3-part series for more valuable information for planning your upcoming renovation. Thank you for joining us, and I hope you have a fantastic day.